A very good afternoon. You're watching NewsX and I'm Shivani Singh. Let's look at the top story that we are looking at today. US Vice President JD Vance is facing intense criticism after he told a group of students that he hopes his Hindu wife, the second lady, Usha Vance, will give up her own faith and become a Christian. He was addressing the students at the University of Mississippi at an event sponsored by Turning Point USA, the group funded by slain Christian conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Let's listen into what JD Vance had to say.
And yes, my wife did not grow up Christian. I think it's fair to say that she grew up in a Hindu family, but not a particularly religious family in either direction. In fact, when I met my wife, we were both, I would consider myself an agnostic or an atheist, and that's what I think she would have considered herself as well. You know, everybody has to come to their own arrangement here. The way that we've come to our arrangement is she's my best friend. We talk to each other about this stuff. So we decided to raise our kids Christian. Our two oldest kids who go to school, they go to a Christian school. Our 8-year-old did his first communion about a year ago. That's the way that we have come to our arrangement. But thank you. My 8-year-old was also very proud of his first communion. Thank you, guys. I'll tell him that Ole Miss wishes him the best. But I think everybody has to have this own conversation when you're in a marriage. I mean, it's true for friends of mine who are in Protestant and Catholic marriages, friends of mine who are in, atheist and Christian marriages. You just got to talk to the only advice I can give is you just got to talk to the person that God has put you with, and you've got to make those decisions as a family unit. For us, it works out. Now, most Sundays, Usha will come with me to church. As I've told her and I've said publicly, and I'll say now in front of 10,000 of my closest friends, do I hope eventually that she is somehow moved by the same thing that I was moved in by church? Yeah, I honestly do wish that, because I believe in the Christian gospel, and I hope eventually my wife comes to see it the same way. But if she doesn't, then God says everybody has free will, and so that doesn't cause a problem for me. That's something you work out with your friends, with your family, with the person that you love. Again, one of the most important Christian principles is that you respect free will. Usha's closer to the priests who baptized me than maybe I am. They talk about this stuff. My attitude is you figure this stuff out as a family, and you trust in God to have a plan, and you try to follow it as best as you can, and that's what I try to do.
Now let's take you through the criticism that has come online against JD Vance's comments. So as you can see, viewers, on your screens, he has met with a lot of criticism on that remark, and we're reading out tweets to you. Fuzzy Logic has said that we decided to raise our questions. He's quoting him, but he has also pointed out that his wife Usha had said that the kids are raised interfaith and they learn about their mother's Hindu side as well, and that she won't convert. So he is asking why JD Vance is actually lying. Then we have another user actually saying that JD Vance sold out his wife's religion and values just to climb the political ladder. Wouldn't be surprising if he divorces Usha and marries Charlie Kirk's widow by the end of 2026. Now remember, this was an event that was funded by an organization that activist Charlie Kirk had actually worked for. So that's why this comment actually is very important. We also have Shubhangi Sharma commenting that Vance's public remarks have actually cast his wife's faith as a kind of a problem to be fixed, a soul yet to be moved. And it's the image of a husband asking the woman to only ever support him, and she has given up her career for him, trusted him enough to give him 3 children, and this feels like a betrayal. So clearly we are seeing that a lot of online criticism. We have another user who's calling out JD Vance, and he's saying that he publicly cast his wife Usha's Hindu faith as a problem to be fixed and something that has to be moved to Christianity. He goes on to mention that she sacrificed career, bought him 3 kids, and even stood by him. And this isn't American values. It's weak leadership and poor politics, bending to MAGA pressure, not defending her dignity. So clearly over here, a lot of negative response to that statement. We also have another user who has said that they are pointing out this difference that Usha had earlier said, that she was raised in a religious household and that her parents were Hindu, and that one of the things that made them good parents was this. However, now JD Vance is could be heard speaking that she grew up in a Hindu family but not a religious one. So that's in direct stark contrast of what he is actually Usha had actually said before. We also have another user stating that we can now write off JD Vance as the 48th POTUS. And why is that? Because his ability to sell anything for power is uniquely distinguishable, and zeal to usurp power is not extinguishable for values, morals and righteousness. So he's stating that these are the things that he's not valuing when he is making such comments on his wife's religion. All right. I am joined by Dr. Martan Jha, contributing editor of NewsX, and he will help us understand this entire issue that is coming to the fore after JD Vance's comment. Dr. Jha, thank you for joining us on this broadcast. We appreciate your time. We want to understand why, firstly, this is a very controversial statement that's coming to the fore. And do you think it is because he wants to climb the political ladder, get a lot of MAGA support?
Maybe. I think that can be one of the reasons, because the right wing in America is also rising its ugly head. We talk about America in terms of the country of immigrants. They value that they are the country of immigrants. They value their westernized culture. But I think US is more part of a Christian world rather than a Western world, and there is a distinction between the Christian world and the Western world. Let me explain how. When you talk about westernization, the westernization, modernization and the order of Christianity, they are enmeshed amongst each other. I think one of the three strands, especially the order of Christianity, is rising in both Western Europe and America. And I find his statements, conducive to his own vote bank. That is my assertion.
Right. Dr. Jha, I also want to understand, because people are stated there's so much online hate. Even though he will have a lot of MAGA supporters actually coming, and we even heard during the bite that there was a lot of applause when he stated that his wife should actually convert, and he's waiting for the day when she actually does that. This seems like some people have been saying that it's a very negative move and it might not go down well with others in the United States of America.
That may be quite true. See, there are a lot of different kind of voices within US who will not support what has gone through. And I would say that India needs to have special interest in what is going on in the United States, because a lot of our people are citizens of US. And this kind of what can I say, a kind of phobia against other religions, especially a Hindu religion, it is quite worrying. We have been seeing this kind of trends in our own neighborhoods, where Hindus are being attacked for their religion. We also saw how in Operation Sindoor people were killed by by terrorists because they were Hindu.
Right. Dr. Jha, this because it's a political debate that we are looking at, and people have been stating that this comes in contrast to his previous statements. Because earlier he had been stating that we have an interfaith family, our kids are going to be raised in an interfaith environment, and suddenly this marked change in his speeches, and this also comes at an event that was funded by slain activist Charlie Kirk's foundation. So that also makes a very significant contributing factor as to why he is making such different statements.
Well, we have to assess whether this comment was a sort of a knee-jerk reaction, or he actually thought about it before speaking his mind out. Because if we don't make a distinction whether it was a knee-jerk reaction or he just thought it out for maybe closeness to the church? We don't know yet. And serious scholarship needs to be done on how United States is going to become as a nation in the next 10 to 20 years, because a lot of things are changing in US also. US is also reacting to the religious dogmas that is prevalent across the world. Today, we are sitting in a globalized world. Anything, let's say, which happens in France or in Asia or in Australia is going to have an impact on US and vice versa. So we should not just look at it through the prism of the American politics. This is something which is very international, which is very global in its nature and character. If I have to further explain on this, I would say that unless and until religions and the religious leaders sit together and actually talk about the hatred between the different religions and come out with a solution, these things are only going to flare up.
Absolutely, Dr. Jha. I think this is a very important time because we are seeing the Vice President actually making such anti-Hindu comments. So we will see how that pans out in America. We're shifting focus now. In a Navy presser that took place on October the 31st, the Navy officials have said that exercise Trishul will take place till 13th November. The Navy is participating with 20 to 25 naval warships, Air Force with 45